Hey guys, Anthony Pietrobono here, online coach and certified trainer. For today's video, I really wanted to discuss the main reason why people become successful. And what I've seen a lot from other people, podcasts, books, just investing in personal growth, is that there's some patterns. And the main thing I see is that they work hard when it's time to work hard, and then they rest hard when it's time to rest. So what does this mean? So it's kind of like the saying work hard, play hard, as cliche as that sounds, but pretty much they're putting in 100% of their effort 80 to 90% of the time. And then that 10 to 20% of downtime that they take off, they're fully resting. They're not thinking about business. They're not thinking about whatever it is. So what that looks like with fitness is having your training, your nutrition, your supplementation, your recovery, everything 100% on point 80 to 90% of the time, and then having, that 10 to 20% of the time where you're not perfect. In most cases, you kind of threw it out the window and you're not thinking about it. It's kind of like a release of a downtime away from chasing that goal, treating it as a de-stressor, pretty much. These are essential. You need these times where you're not constantly, like 100% of the time, stressing about all the little things and the fine details. If you're perfect 80 to 90% of the time and you have 10, 20% of the time where, let's say you just go out with your friends for a weekend and you don't think about meal timing, or you don't think about drinking a certain amount of enough water, you don't think about, oh, I need to have perfect sleep or training or eating. You just go out and you just do whatever. You don't think about it. That's the main thing. You don't think about it. The problem that most people seem to run into is that they may be trying really hard to be perfect, but it's not a habit yet. They haven't made it a habit, and there's all these other things going on in their life. Their environment doesn't support their lifestyle decisions. There's all these other stressors that are throwing them off. So they may be trying to be perfect, going from not even doing anything to doing all of it at once, and it's overwhelming. So they may not even work out, but then they start trying to do everything perfect. That's another issue that has to be eased into it. So you start off setting a simple goal of, okay, I want to drink 4 liters of water a day now. Just start doing that. Once that becomes easy, you don't think about it, and it's like, okay, I want to make sure I'm sleeping 8 hours a day. Then you start setting alarms an hour before bedtime to sleep, so that way you wake up and you can get a full 8-hour sleep. Then once that becomes a habit after a couple months, then you add in the next thing, and then you start tracking your nutrition. It's all these things you need to be easing into it, and then you get to this point where you're doing everything perfect, and then you can go ahead and have these downtimes. And the reason why they're so important is because most people, again, like I said, they feel too overwhelmed. They try to take it all at once. They do everything perfect for about a week, maybe even a month. They do everything perfect, and then they just blow up and like, screw it, can't do it anymore, lose hope, and then they do nothing for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Then they feel horrible about themselves, and it's a vicious cycle, and they keep going back through the cycle. So that's the importance of having these downtimes. The same thing why people kind of say deloads, having a deload week of just not training hard, is going to keep your motivation, your fire, your CNS recovered, and you're going to want to keep going to the gym. People don't want to think of having a week of just not training hard. They're like, oh, I got to be hardcore, always push. But no, if you have these times where you pull back and then you push again, you can push again harder, and you can keep pushing. That's the key. This transfers into business as well. You kind of want to think of it like work hard, rest hard. All right. So when it's time to work, you don't play, you work. When it's time to rest, don't think about work, right? There's no sense saying taking a weekend off, spending time with family, and then checking your phone every 2 seconds because you may have clients to check up on and stuff. Like, if you're taking a break, take a break. So that way you can work harder later. And that's what really separates the successful people from the people who don't end up succeeding in whatever they're trying to achieve. It's that work hard, rest hard. You got to have that mentality. If you continue on with this approach, then you're going to be far more productive when it's time to work, and you're going to be far less stressed while you're recovering. So less stress, more productivity in less time, it's a win. Just think of it this way. If you're taking 2 days out of each month to not pursue whatever you're doing and just not think about anything, rather than completely falling off and losing motivation for 2 months and then trying to stress and freak out and try to get back into it and then having those cycles, it's just far less effective. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Let me know what you guys think. I'm obviously no super successful person, but this is just something I kind of picked up on, and I feel like I'm on the right path, and I feel like I will get there with time. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next video.